Welcome back, Mr. Witness. You may kindly take your seat. Mr. Witness, for continuation of your testimony before this commission of your inquiry into local government councils and related matters, I want to remind you that you are still under oath before I hand you over to Madam Chair for us to proceed.
Okay.
Thank you. Madam Chair, over to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dem.
Afternoon, ma.
You are welcome back.
Thank you, ma.
Councilman, proceed.
Yes, so then just one last issue with respect to your invoice.
Okay.
You only factored the prices for the dwarf coconut seedling,
Okay.
the tall coconut seedling, and the fertilizer.
Yeah.
How did you capture the amount you spent on transportation of this?
No. The price on all the items, I include the transportation inside.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So for the unit price of example, the dwarf coconut seedling, if it is for $415, says,
Yeah.
that will include the
Transportation, yes.
of that one
Yes. Both load and loading.
boat.
The transportation, load and load, offloading.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. Any questions for Mr. Pam?
Is that all for this witness?
Yes, that's all.
Was there any documents that you requested him to bring?
Yes, we have requested some
My
documents.
original business registration is with you. I want to file the copy
Yes, we are turning this back to you.
and the GBPA. Yes. Oh, you don't need it. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Dem, one question.
Okay.
And aside from the Ostend
Yes.
B.C.C project,
Yeah.
what other business were you involved in with B.C.C?
With B.C.C.
Yes.
No, I have not been doing business with B.C.C. This was the only main business I do with them. I can remember.
Is that? Are you telling us that's the only business?
Yes. Apart from sometimes they will come to my office to make photocopy, binding. Yes, those ones they used to do. Those are small. But the main business that I do with them is this one.
Okay, but there were other businesses that you also do with them. That is on IT basis.
They will come and make photocopy. They will come make photocopy and binding. That one they will just come and pay. We do for them. We do for them because we have a copy shop around Allen Street. That's where they used to come and do those kind of jobs.
Thank you, Mr. Dem.
Okay, ma'am.
We expect to see you bring the documents. I think we told you.
Yeah, he
before
said.
we went for break.
He said yes. He said I should bring some of my
No. I'm just confirming to you that we have asked you to bring these documents by Wednesday. Next week.
Okay, ma'am.
Right?
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are discharged.
All
In
right,
the
thank
event that we have need to clarify certain issues,
No
we
problem.
may call you.
No problem. I will be available.
Good afternoon, Mr. Witness.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and Related Matters.
Thank you.
You can stand here and then face that camera.
Yes.
The witness, in which language do you wish to make your testimony?
English,
What is your religion?
Islam.
You wish to swear by the Holy Quran or make an affirmation?
No, the Holy Quran.
Okay, Madam Chair, the witness wishes to swear by the Holy Quran. Hold the Holy Quran and then repeat after me. I.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ba.
Good afternoon, Ma.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Ba, I will need you to state your official name before the commission.
Thank you very much, Lead Commission. My name is Modou Lamin Biba.
Thank you very much. Your address?
Banjul.
I take it that you are a National Assembly member.
Yes, sitting National Assembly member.
Okay. You used to work for the Banjul City Council?
Yes.
When was this?
This was in 2019 up to 2022
In what capacity?
as the public relations officer.
Were you appointed the fixed term contract?
Yes, I was appointed.
May I please see your appointment letter?
Sure. But I only have the photocopy.
That's fine.
That's my
We apply to tender the appointment letter addressed to the witness, Modou Lamin B. Ba, to the position of Public Relation Officer, 23rd of January 2019, to be admitted into evidence and marked accordingly. It is signed by the Chief Executive Officer and copied to the Lord Mayor, B.C.C, the Admin Manager, the Acting Director of Finance, Audit Manager.
A letter dated the 23rd of January 2019 with reference 2/BCC/P/2/B in bracket 72 addressed to Modou Lamin Biba, and it has the subject re-appointment as Public Relations Officer. It is signed by the CEO, copied to the Lord Mayor, Admin Manager, Acting Director of Finance, Audit Manager, and a file copy is maintained. This letter is admitted in evidence as an exhibit, and it is marked as LGC/BCC/MLBB/001.
As the Commission pleases. Honorable Ba, what is your educational background?
I acquired my WAS from Gambia High School. From there,
Which year was that?
this was in 2006. That is when I graduated from Gambia High School. From there, I pursued management with MDI, but also sat for external exams with the ICM, that is the Institution of Commercial Management in UK, and I was able to obtain graduate diploma in management. And from there also I did a course on international relations, that is diploma in diplomacy and international relations at MDI, and currently pursuing Bachelor's of Science in International Relations and Global Affairs with the University of Ella in Netherlands.
It's an online program?
Online, yes.
A statement was obtained from you on the 15th of September 2023. Do you recall this?
Yes, I do recall.
I will give you a duplicate of the original. Please go through it. It has a signature. It bears your name.
Yes.
It's a two-page statement.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We apply to tender the statement of the witness dated the 15th of September 2023 into evidence as an exhibit.
The witness statement dated the 15th of September 2023 is hereby admitted in evidence as an exhibit, and it is marked as LGC/BCC/MLBB/002.
As the commission pleases. Now, as the PRO, what was your role or your functions?
My co-function at the council. Are you getting
You may
me?
please proceed.
Okay. My co-function at the council was to be responsible for programs and communication, and to see how to break that linkage between the city council and the city dwellers in terms of communicating to them. So this was my main role, but according to my appointment letter, as you can see, that I was directly answerable to the office of the mayor, or the mayor herself, and also the CEO.
How were you appointed?
I applied.
You have your application letter?
Yes.
Was there a vacancy advertised for this position?
The vacancy, according to my knowledge, it wasn't advertised, but I can just give you a brief history of what happened.
Okay.
Prior to my application, I was privileged to work with the city council as a volunteer during when the mayor set up the task force, so that we were the volunteers that we are going on the ground to collect data for them in terms of the data that they were looking for. Let's say, for example, the issue of the ghost workers.
The ghost workers?
The ghost workers in council before. And we were able to go on the field. For example, the KG5, we understood that by then the city council was paying the staff that were working there under the city council. And we realized that some of them are not even existing. So we were the very people who collected those data and report back to the task force, so that they will be able to prepare the report.
Is that data, okay, there's a report.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of the report?
I don't have the copy of the report, but I think if you liaise with the council, they should have the copy of the report of that task force.
Okay.
Yes.
So you were part of this task force?
I was part of the volunteers.
The volunteers?
Yeah, the
How many
volunteers
of
of
you?
the task force. I just cannot remember, but we are indeed, it wasn't a small number though.
This was in 2018?
Yeah, this was in 2018.
How did you come about volunteering for the task force?
Yeah, because we had the news that a task force was set up for the city council to see how best they will be able to at least set up a vision and mission for the city council.
How did you hear the news?
We heard the news on normal news, GRTS. It was when it was launched.
GRTS?
Yeah, it was launched, and I believe it was announced on GRTS.
You're not sure?
I am not very sure, but I believe also, I believe through GRTS, but also as a city dweller also, I must be in connection of what is happening. As a city dweller, somebody
dweller,
living
okay.
in the city,
Yes.
I must also know how the city is run as a concerned citizen living in the city.
Okay.
So that is also one of the ways I might think that I was able to at least get this information.
So, but you had, of course, you had a prior relationship with the mayoress.
Of course, with the mayoress, this is an open secret that we belong to the same political party. So having a relationship with the mayor, of course, we belong to the same political party.
So that's where you build the relationship with her. That is where you build the relationship, or it was prior to that?
It was prior to that because she was living in James, Senegal when I was young, where I was born and brought up, and I was moving with one of her son rather,
Right.
and this is how we know each other. But that was a long time ago because there was a time I didn't see her for a very long time.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember seeing her again in 2017, if I am not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you volunteered for how long?
Almost 7 months with the...
And what happened after you volunteered?
What happened after, let's say, during the time I was volunteering, I also tried by all means to have this connection with the CEO, that is Mr. Bacheli.
Right.
I was asking him if there is any opportunity, because as a young person who was indeed very passionate about working for the council, especially my people, I deemed it necessary to see where opportunities are and if my credentials can at least put me in those positions so that I can work for the people. And I was meant to understand that the then PRO was promoted as the admin manager.
Right.
So I said, then this is indeed a very good opportunity for me to apply, which I did. So I applied, and my application letter is here with me. I applied on the 1st of December 2019.
Right.
So on the 23rd of January I applied on the 1st of December 2018 rather.
Okay.
So when I applied on the 23rd of January 2019, I received a letter from the office of the CEO, that is my appointment letter,
Yes.
and I responded back to accept the offer on the 24th of January. But I can see here on my response, instead of saying 24th January 2019, because of maybe I was so excited to receive such an appointment letter. So it was a typo though, and I put there 24th January 2018 for your consideration.
It should be 2019.
Yes, it should be 2019.
Okay, because it makes sense because your appointment letter was sent to you on the 23rd of January 2019.
Yes.
So it will only make sense probably you accepted it a day after.
Yes.
And not a year prior.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
We apply to tender the application letter for the position of public relations officer as tendered by the witness. The acceptance letter, the date is 24th of January 2018. The witness has explained the dates and marked it as a typo. the appointment letter as Public Relations Officer on the 23rd of January 2019, all to be admitted into evidence and marked as exhibits.
A letter dated the 1st of December 2018. The letter is addressed to the CEO of Banjul City Council and it emanated from Modou Lamin Biba. It has the subject application for the position of Public Relations Officer, PRO. It is signed by Modou Lamin Biba. The second letter is dated the 24th of January 2018 and it is addressed to the CEO of Banjul City Council. It has the caption acceptance letter. It is also signed by Modou Lamin Biba. These two letters are admitted in evidence as exhibit and they are marked as LGC/BCC/MLBB/003.
As the Commission places. Now, when did you, when were you awarded your diploma in business management and administration from the Management Development Institute, MDI?
This was in 2010.
2010.
Yes.
Right. Now you were told that you were answerable to the mayors.
Yes, and the CEO.
And the CEO. What do you understand by that?
Meaning in terms of my duties, when it comes to directives and also assignments, I should be assigned directly by the CEO or the mayors in terms of my duty.
When you sent your application, were you invited to any meeting or any interview?
When I sent my what?
Your application letter for this position that you were subsequently employed for.
I cannot remember because by then my application, I also attached my CV and also my credentials. So I cannot remember having any conversation prior to my receiving my appointment.
Not conversation, interview.
No interview.
There was no interview.
I cannot recall.
Will it be correct to say there was no interview?
Sorry. I was invited by the CEO.
Is it an interview that you had with
yes,
the CEO?
This was a kind of, I don't take it more as an interview, as a formal interview, but a conversation in terms of understanding what I understand, especially when it comes to issues surrounding communications.
So you were never interviewed for this job?
I cannot remember sitting on any panel.
If you sat on any panel, would you remember?
I cannot remember sitting in any panel.
If you were invited and you faced a panel for the job, would you be in a position to remember that?
Oh. Will I be?
In a position to remember. If you were interviewed, there was a panel and you were invited and you were interviewed.
That's what I'm saying. I was never in a panel to be interviewed.
Yes.
That is what I want to make clear. I was never invited for an interview.
Okay.
Yes.
Clear, very clear. What was your prior experience, your employment experience prior to you being appointed in this position?
As a youth volunteer in the city of Banjul, I've been into so many community development initiatives. And according to my CV, I once served as the chairperson of the Banjo Youth Committee, meaning the committee, I served as the chair of the committee that was responsible through the National Youth Council to facilitate and coordinate all youth activities in the city of Banjul. And I can remember working with the city council for so many times, even
Working or volunteering?
Volunteering rather. Thank you for that rectification. Volunteering with the city council in so many initiatives before I worked there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, what would now be your experience in the area of public relations prior to this job?
Okay, the program that I did at MDI, that is the management program, there is a specific module that has to do with communication.
Okay.
And this was a module that I passed through, and I believe it also enhanced my knowledge and capacity in terms of understanding what it takes to at least communicate effectively.
Absolutely, absolutely, no doubt.
So in that regard, I see it as an opportunity to explore it. Because
but you had no prior working experience in this field before?
I have no prior working experience, but on this particular field,
yeah.
But I was indeed an entrepreneur operating my own business in the city of Banjul.
Right.
I was the manager of Nice Banjul. I managed Nice Banjul. It was an internet cafe in the city of Banjul from 2011 to 2013,
okay.
when I changed the business to Modou's General Services, which was an advisory and also referral job center.
Yes.
I can remember also working with the Ministry of Trade to organize the first career fair, that is a job fair, for about 60 people in the Gambia that was organized at Keraba Beach Hotel.
Yes, but this was your first.
These were just experiences and also activities that I just
gathered along the way.
Gathered along the way in terms of experience. And like we say, as far as youth activism is concerned, and as a youth activist, we believe that youth activism is a university of its own.
Right.
You learn a lot because you are exposed to so many experiences and also so many activities whereby you build your capacity to better understand, especially when it comes to development initiatives.
I agree.
Yeah.
I share the same opinion, even though it remains to be an opinion. That's the issue. I share the same opinion with you,
sure.
But it remains to be an opinion. Some people differ. Some people will disagree that it may not suffice for
yes.
the job we are talking about. I think it is going to be a good argument. But talking about employment experience, you don't have that when it comes to public relations.
I cannot totally agree that I didn't have that experience, like I said.
Employment, I mean, not
okay.
volunteer.
All right.
Employment experience.
Okay.
Do you have it or you don't have it
okay.
when it comes to this position?
And I can also make it clear that this was my second employment as far as my entire life was concerned.
And your first was?
My first was when I graduated from Gambia High School. I had the opportunity to work at Mansi Beach Hotel as a hotelier and also at the position of Assistant General Controller
okay.
on the F&B, that is food
right.
and beverage.
So just to move on, you've done so many volunteer work, which was really commendable. But again, when it comes to employment-wise, you don't have the necessary prior experience before your employment in relation to this field.
I will agree with you on that,
all
to
right,
be honest, when it comes to the position of PRO.
Okay.
Yes, there was no prior experience in terms of the employment aspect of it.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Now, the grade is grade 8.1. That's what I see in your appointment. It says, reference made to your application letter, I am pleased to offer you appointment as Public Relations Officer with effect from 1st of February 2019. You will receive salary on grade 8.1 of the newly integrated government pay scale, and you'll be directed to be answerable to the Lord Mayor through the Chief Executive Officer for the proper performance of your duties. Now, I would probably ask those questions for the CEO. You don't determine your grade, and you don't determine how you were employed, you send your application. Is that not the case?
To be honest.
Good. Now, with respect to the office you occupy, do you have staff working with you or under you, or in this at this time?
Okay. The truth is, I was the only one in my office until the later part when I decided to go and contest. That is when a lady called Fatou Menga, a sister, I can call her a sister, that was introduced to me by the CEO.
Okay.
So that is when I at least, and it was a very short time, to be honest.
Okay.
Because that even extended, because according to what I've decided in terms of applying for a leave of absence without salary from B.C.C. to go and contest, supposed to be on the 1st of February. But due to the late introduction of Ms. Fatou Menga, I decided at least to push for at least 2 weeks so that I can give her that orientation, which I never had the opportunity to when I started with B.C.C.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, as a public relations officer, you kept a file during this period that you served?
Did I what?
Keep a file? Did you keep a file?
Of course. I keep a file. I keep a file. It's called the public file of the public relations officer.
From the time you were employed to?
Yes, till the time that I wrote my letter of to ask for a permission to go and contest, leave without salary.
Were you given a time of reference?
According to the appointment letter, that was the only document that was given to me.
So how did you know what to do? I mean, you're coming in newly,
okay,
occupying an office for the first time.
I know.
Doing a job for the first time.
Okay.
You had no prior
okay.
Work experience in this job. How did you know what to do?
Okay, if you give me the opportunity. When I came, as you said, I was able to understanding that there was a former PRO who was now then appointed or promoted, rather, to be the admin manager. I seized the opportunity to liaise with him,
right,
so that he can guide me in terms of how the work was to be done. There was a little bit resistant, but that is personal. I don't think
resistance from
the former PRO, who is currently the admin manager, in terms of showing me the way out in order to navigate as far as
maybe he does not also know the way out. Maybe he was also given a TOR.
To be honest, I think as someone who has been in that position for so many years, I would have expected him to, but I think that cannot be a matter of discussion here. What was more important is that I tried by all means to build my capacity and navigate during the period, to do things that are required of me in terms of serving the people, because the entire interest that I had was serving the people.
So now, working there for a while, now what became your actual TOR? Now, what were you doing on a daily basis? Now that you were not given an official TOR,
okay,
what were you now doing on a daily basis,
okay,
in relation to the Office of the Public Relations?
I was doing a lot in relations to my work, and I will just name a few, like trying by all means to work with the Office of the CEO and the Mayor, especially when it comes to communication and also when it comes to information, because these are two different things. So what I did was also to take over the issues surrounding programs organized or activities organized by the council. I lead those programs. We had several programs.
Give us an example.
I can give an example whereby during the COVID-19, we had a lot of sensitization programs. We also had initiative like the Food Relief Initiative for Banjul, whereby a task force was also created by the Office of the Mayor to see how best we can mobilize funds and bring these funds and see how best we can help people that are confined in their homes during the COVID-19. And any other activities whereby, let's say, if the mayor have press briefing, I do participate in terms of organizing the press briefing, communicate to the media houses for coverage, and also at the end of the day, make sure that I moderate. Sometimes I do moderate the event. Sometimes.
And all these are documented?
All these are documented in a sense that if you go to our social media page.
No, not social media.
No,
Come on, my friend.
because lead counsel.
Yes.
If you say all these things are documented, I was relying more on our social media page in terms of reporting.
You can't do that.
But there are also other things that I did that I also have report, both on soft copy, which I will share later if necessary.
Yeah, because we will expect, for instance, if you hold an office, you have a file that you keep, an office of that importance. Like I said earlier, if I apply for a job, it's not up to me to decide the rules, how they are going to employ me. And as a young person, you deserve to be employed. All of us deserve to be employed and to be given a chance and to be able to serve our country or our community. So the questions of whether there is an irregularity with respect to your employment may be best suited for the Chief Executive Officer, who is the custodian of the laws in council. Right?
But
so all you have to do is just apply. And if you are employed as well, and maybe the CEO should talk about why you were employed and not for you. Exactly. All of us can try our chances.
Sure.
But now you are there, and now it's time for accounting. This is where the challenges come in. You understand that, Bernie? You know more than I do, I guess, that when we talk about official matters, we can't rely on social media for official actions. Then we need you, probably, if there are communications done, we need you to produce a file, tell us some of the work you have done, the communications you have sent out, if any, the correspondences you have engaged in. So that's what I'm trying to get a hold of, so that
now I understand, lead counsel. Right. I think some of these were documented. They were documented.
But you're not sure?
I'm sure some of them were documented. Okay. And just to inform you that I don't think it was everything that to be written in the form of a report, because I don't think that was also, I even had the time, to be honest, because like I said in the beginning, when I was employed, I was the only one in this unit.
Right.
I was the only person doing almost everything. And not only doing everything, because at the end of the day, it was so difficult on me in terms of doing almost everything. Right. Because, for example, if events are organized, I was responsible to take photos. Not only taking photos, but also moderate the event. And after moderating the event, I have to go sit down, articulate a particular report that is to be shared with the public, articulate it and update it to the public. So all these things, and sometimes we might even have two or three activities per day. So
there was a need, maybe, now that you have learned the hard way, there was a need, maybe, the ideal situation would have been to have maybe a seasoned public relations manager, also someone you can learn from, and not to put you in front of the battle line with less experience.
That's true. But I will also seize this opportunity to thank somebody like Mr. Jones, who was the former clerk of the council.
Right.
He was also then the PRO of the Banjul City Council.
Right.
I learned a lot from him, though,
very well,
because we shared also the same office, and he was also guiding me during the process, to be honest. And he was able to make me understand
so many things,
when it comes to my work.
Now, if we are to ask you to produce a file containing any of your correspondences whilst you occupy this office, will you be able to do that?
Files like which files do you?
Any file that you've worked with. I would not know how you would label the file. Maybe it will be labeled communications between X period to Y period.
If you go to B.C.C, of course there is a file under the nomenclature PRO, the Public Relations Officer, yes.
The PRO file is there?
Yes, the PRO file is there, and you will find all the documents of my correspondence.
That you maintain?
Yes.
During the period you were there?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So please, you will give you a paper, you write it down.
No, I have my notebook.
Okay,
I
please
can
do that.
surely put it
you may communicate with the CEO to request for the file as at the time you were there as the Public Relations Officer.
Okay, the entire file?
Yes, the entire file you maintained.
Okay. And I should submit it, right, to the commission?
Please do that, yes.
Noted.
Now, Honorable, we have also, during this period, that several payments were made in your name. You recall this?
It depends on the payments that you will highlight, or I can have access to, please.
Very well. I will show you some vouchers.
Yes.
We have voucher number 220000179. The date is 1st of July 2022. The amount is $19,000. We have another voucher 2100103. The date is 25th of November 2021. I'll give you 3. We have PV number 0012. The amount is $15,000. Are you familiar with those payments? Let's take it one at a time. The first one, can you please read out the number, the voucher number?
Is it PV number 0012?
Yes. The amount?
Okay, I can see 15,000.
Okay. The description on the voucher as in what the payment was for?
It was for the disbursement for the purchase of weekly fuel.
Weekly fuel.
For the mayor's vehicles. For the mayor's vehicles.
$15,000. Is it
15,000? Yes, 15,000.
That's the weekly fuel for the mayoress?
Yeah, for the mayoress, yes.
Now, what were you were given? You paid the amount?
I have what?
Were you paid the amount?
I cannot recall. But I am not seeing any attachment in terms of the receipt to this particular transaction.
Yes, that is a problem.
Yeah.
Just give me that voucher.
Yeah.
You can go to the next one.
Okay. And this was on the 7th of January, right?
You also recognize the second one as well?
Staff loan application. This second one is talking about staff loan application.
It says? The description?
Being disbursed as personal loan granted to be deducted from his salary.
How much?
And this was in November 2021. It was 30,000.
Okay.
Yes.
This, the third one?
Yes, I can also recall this one.
The amount, sir?
Is 19,000. This was during a town hall meeting. The first town hall meeting organized at Dobson, yeah.
The money was paid to you. Is it check payment or cash payment?
It was a cash payment, but I also retired, I believe, with receipts.
You believe?
Yeah. I believe I retired this
Let me
with
have
receipts.
the 3.
Sorry. This is, I think it's the
Now we start with the PV number 0012, the $15,000. It says being disbursement for the purchase of weekly fuel supply for mayor's vehicle. Now that's $15,000 for every week. That's $15,000 every week.
I really don't know, but this particular week, I can remember making the request.
Yes.
I can remember.
Making the request.
Yeah.
And then you were given a check of $15,000.
Yes.
When you withdrew the check, what did you do?
What I did was I gave the money to the then protocol officer who was responsible to buy the fuel.
Who?
Mr. Margaret Samba. Yeah, I remember giving him the amount because this is a request that the CEO asked me to raise on behalf of the mayor.
Bachili?
Yeah, Bachili.
Asked you to raise this?
Yeah, to raise the amount because I cannot just raise an amount without having the instruction from either the mayor or the CEO.
Okay.
So that is why I acted. As you can see, I wrote a memo and I raised the amount.
We don't see a memo.
Yeah, I wrote a memo to request.
We see request for.
Yeah, exactly. Because the request forms are always in a form of a memo.
So the CEO asked you to put up this request?
Yes.
For the mayors?
Yes.
So the mayors receive $15,000 every week?
That I cannot ascertain.
You don't know?
No, I don't know.
It is your first time raising this request?
I believe so, because this was the first and the only time that I requested for the fuel in terms of the Office of the Mayor's operation.
So the town hall meeting is voucher number 2200179.
Yes.
1st of July 2022. The town hall meeting, you were paid $19,000.
Yes.
In cost of logistics for the town hall meeting.
Yes.
At Dobson Street.
Yes.
Now, who paid you this money?
Who paid?
Who paid you?
Banjul City Council paid this money.
By check?
By check, yes. I received it by check, then I implemented as it is stated. On the request. Then I retired everything in terms of providing receipts.
The request reads, I write to request for $19,000 as impressed to take care of logistics for the town hall meeting organized by the Office of the Mayor. The Banjul City Council is in its drive to hold regular consultation and updates with residents of the city, intends to hold a town hall meeting with the people of Banjul South constituency, slated on this Saturday, 12th of February 2022, at Dobson. Now the items are banners. You have two quantity. The unit cost is $5,500. The total is $11,000. The food and refreshment for the logistics team, the unit quantity is one. Unit cost $5,000. The media houses, 3 media houses. It didn't state which media houses. $1,000 each, making it $3,000. Now, how did you come about this, arriving at these figures?
Yes, these are figures after making inquiry in terms of, for example, the banner. I made inquiry with one of the printing, if I can remember, with one of the printing companies in the Gambia, and to know how much they will make banners for us, and they informed me that this is how much they can do it for us. It was not even a very big company, but a local company.
I'm going to give you back the voucher so that you may refresh your memory.
Sure.
As you provide your answers.
Yeah. That is for the case of the banners.
Yes.
And for the food and refreshment, a caterer was identified.
Who was the caterer?
I cannot remember exactly who was the caterer because it has been a while.
It's important.
But yes, I know it's very important.
Not to remember, to have it in the document.
I know, but if you allow me,
okay, please.
I believe the caterer also provided an invoice and also a receipt.
Okay, we don't have
which was
that.
also attached. So for me, what I can say on this is that I am very surprised that there is no retirement attached, which I did.
Yes.
Because I can tell you that in terms of retirement, I was one person in council who doesn't joke
With retirement.
or play with retirement. And I can tell you that even the former acting director of audit and even the CEO himself and also the accounts department will always tell me that for you, you don't joke with retirement.
Okay.
So that is why I am surprised that nothing is attached as far as this document is concerned.
Right, yeah, please, we will give you time to get, yes.
It's fine.
So, the issue is there may be retirement, right?
Yes.
Perhaps you have retired.
Of course, I have retired.
Okay,
Yes.
so we would want to, for all the payments that you have received and you have retired, we will give you time, you'll have time to communicate with B.C.C.
Yeah.
And you may be able to find the retirement that you have submitted.
I think that will be very important, and I will really appreciate that.
Okay, please, please write that down in your notebook.
Sure.
So when we call you back, as at the date stated for you by the chairperson, then you will be able to be in a position probably to have reasonable time to provide the retirement. Now, that's one issue. The other issue with respect to this voucher is the banners. The unit price for a banner is $5,500. Is that a reasonable price for the banners?
Because these were big banners.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
they
is
were
it a
big banners.
reasonable price?
I think banners also have different sizes.
Right.
And I can remember that it was a big banner.
Okay.
That was
What is it?
why
What is the
it
dimension?
amounted. I cannot surely recall, lead counsel, to be honest.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that the
I
best
might
price?
be overwhelmed
Go ahead.
with, activities, because these were one of so many activities that I coordinated.
Yeah, but with the right documents, you wouldn't, like I always say,
Yeah.
I can't remember so many
But
things.
I believe
have done,
if the receipt and the retirement was available,
Right.
it would have at least
Provided-
featured, the dimension of the
of the banners.
Yes.
We will wait for that. But the price, is that the best price in town for that kind of banner?
For me, I cannot determine. I believe by then it was what the person or the person who produced the banner said.
Did you pay less or more than the actual?
I cannot. If I don't pay more, I will never pay less for B.C.C. I am not that kind of person.
No. What I mean is the supplier, the person who supplied you the banners. Did you pay more than the actual price, or pay less than the actual price, or pay the normal market price?
I pay as it is stated on the request.
On the request?
Yes.
So is there any chance that what was charged was probably much more higher, more than what it would normally cost in the market?
I just cannot ascertain that, because this was not my area of concentration, neither my expertise in
So
terms
why did you do it?
Because I was organizing the program. I was the one leading the program.
It's good you see where I am. Hear me out.
Okay.
It's good that you see where the discussion is leading to, because if you don't have the expertise,
Yes.
and you don't have the training, is it not risky to engage in it?
Now, what I mean by the expertise, meaning when it comes to the issue of determining the price.
That's procurement.
That is not my job.
That's my point.
Yeah,
My
that
point
is-
is
that
you
is- that is-
you
that is
raised
not
a
my
request for you to be given an imprest, and you have stated in your request certain prices that
Exactly.
you cannot verify as to whether those prices are the actual normal reasonable price in the market.
Remember, like you said it, I am not the procurement officer, neither did I go through this process by applying any procurement, whatever method or expertise.
Okay.
Yeah, all what I did was I was to organize the event and to make it successful.
Okay.
So I liaised with people that I think that they work on banners,
Right.
produce banners.
Right.
I contacted them,
Right.
and they gave me the price, and
Right.
I just took the one that was
I understand.
more reasonable.
Look.
Yeah.
Honorable, but I understand that. I know you came at a time that you were not really probably familiar, and you're doing your best to learn on the job, which is good.
And I did my best.
Which is good.
Yeah.
But we are here to discuss some of the mistakes and where we can learn from. Some of the things that we may have done during the course of our work, but which would not have been done in the right way.
No, I agree with you.
Exactly.
Council. Yeah,
so now,
I agree with you.
but we're still, I know you agree, I understand that, and like I said to you, probably none of your fault as at the time. But just to get the message out,
yeah,
it's important for us to have this discussion.
That's true.
You don't have experience or training in procurement.
No, that was never my field. I've never attempted it even in my life.
But now you engaged in procurement.
Yes.
And so because you engaged in procurement without experience, you would not know what to do. Correct?
Sure.
And because you don't know what to do, you may be paying far more than you were supposed to pay, and you would not know. There is a procurement unit. Why did you not tell them that this is not your area, that you don't engage in procurement? You cannot engage in procurement.
Like you said, lead counsel, I think these are things that we need to learn from.
Right.
And I will admit to this particular issue.
Right.
I would have liaised with the procurement.
Right.
Which I didn't, and I will take that responsibility.
Okay.
Yes,
Very
because according to the way I understand, I believe it shouldn't have been like that, to be honest.
This process is wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of the reasons why it is important is because the fundamental reason why procurement should be followed is to attain value for money.
Yeah,
so that
sure.
What you are saying you are trying to seek, which is serving the people, you will ultimately achieve it by making sure you are not committing public funds.
Sure. Sure.
In the wrong manner. Because for instance, if anybody is to say, maybe you have a cut in this process, how can you defend yourself?
No, I agree with you 100%. I believe the issue here is the procedure. Is the big time procedure.
Is what creates the doubt.
And you are indeed very true, correct rather, because if I cannot provide, which I am now saying I did, and Allah know that I provided the receipts. If I cannot prove that, then I cannot ascertain that I paid less or I paid more.
Yes.
To be honest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so if the process is wrong, then the person responsible would have been in whose name it was done.
That's true. I agree.
We will come back to this because we wait for the impress. The second one, the third one, is says being disbursement as personal loan.
Yes.
Granted to be deducted from his salary.
Yes.
You applied for a loan?
Yes, I can remember applying for a loan.
How much?
30,000 as indicated on that request.
Who did you apply to?
I applied to the office of the CEO and it was granted.
You paid the amount in full?
I can remember paying the amount to finish because it was deducted from my salary on a monthly basis.
This was in 2021?
Yes, 2021.
When did you leave for to contest for the position of?
I left in February 2022.
2022.
Yes.
And how much was deducted from you?
I just cannot remember.
Will you be able to provide us with evidence of deductions? Because the loan was granted in November.
I need to communicate to the accounts unit so that they can provide me with my pay slip.
Yeah, because the loan was granted in November.
Yeah.
And you left in February.
November 2021.
Yes, and you left in February 2022.
Oh, that's true.
You see why I'm asking?
That's true. Now I see your point.
Yes,
I see your point. The timing.
Yeah.
I think if that was the case, meaning I didn't complete the payment of this particular loan.
But we'll still give you time.
Yes.
We'll give you time to
no, but I can ascertain to that because if it was November.
Yes.
Because I can remember taking 2 loans. I thought this was the first loan.
The first loan.
Yeah, and I completed that one. So that is why the second loan was given to me.
Okay.
So I believe that if it was November 2021,
Right.
it doesn't make sense to say that I paid the entire
yes.
loan here when
Yes.
it was deducted from my salary. So meaning I was paying my entire salary to B.C.C, which wasn't the case.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. Thank you. Again, you want to know how much, if any amount is paid, maybe a certain amount was
Yeah,
paid.
I think with that also I have to liaise with the accounts
you time. We'll
department
give
to
you time
know
for this.
exactly how much was paid.
Right.
Then the balance I will be able to settle it.
It's already 3:30. Honorable Chairperson, I look a bit exhausted. We have a lot of vouchers to go through. Yes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ba. We'll see you tomorrow in the morning to complete your evidence.
Tomorrow which time?
Tomorrow at 11.
Yeah, I also want to appeal with your permission. As a sitting, currently we are on committee sessions, because this is why I also want to seize the opportunity again to thank the commission, because when you first sent me a subpoena, I responded by informing you that I was currently attending the first ordinary session of the parliament, which according to section 116 of the constitution, that I cannot be compelled while session is going on
Yes, Mr.
to
Ba,
attend.
we dealt
Yes.
with that one.
So
on this one
I just
now-
want to bring it to your attention.
Yes.
With due respect, I just want to bring it to your attention, because even today, I was informed that I supposed to be here 10 a.m. and I was here 9:30. So I almost spent the whole day. I even told one of your officers that I supposed to chair the health committee meeting today, but I could not, because of this is also
So,
equally
did
important.
you reschedule the hearing of your health committee meeting?
No,
You know,
I just asked them to go ahead.
Yes, what we will do is that we will schedule you.
No, I can be
Tomorrow.
available. I will come tomorrow.
Chair, may I assist the commission?
Yes.
Maybe I can liaise with Mr. Camara, the registrar, and if the chairperson will permit, we will know his schedule.
Please.
With respect to the National Assembly sittings.
Please.
We can confirm the schedule, and if the chairperson will permit, then we will look for a suitable time. We start and exhaust the hearing in one sitting.
All right.
Yes,
I think
can
that
I-
is fair enough. You will I will order that you liaise with the registrar.
Sure.
And then we will give you the summons to reappear, so that when we deal with you, we will finish with all the issues that we need to.
Sure. I think, thank you
All right.
very much.
Thank you, Chair. We are grateful too.
Yeah, thank you.
We will rise.